I'm MarzGurl.
I'm JoshKnightTheFirst.
And welcome to episode 106 of MokkoriPlay, the only podcast dedicated solely to all things City Hunter.
On today's podcast, we're going to cover Season 2, Episode 55 of City Hunter, titled Proposal from a 17-Year-Old, Suspicious Date Panic, Part 2.
Can we just get through this one, because this is such a weird premise.
No, I agree with you. I'm not even trying to hide that I don't like these two episodes. We're going to try and get through it.
This is a Hojo's fault thing.
This is a Hojo fault.
This is a Hojo decision. It's not a Sunrise decision. Sunrise just adapted Hojo's decision.
And it's a stupid-ass decision, and we've elected to get through it as fast as possible.
Yeah. Meanwhile, just to kind of get some just extra details of things, spitball on out of the way, other things going on real fast. City Hunter Angel Dust, the movie that we've already seen in Japanese, it's about to come out in France. It's coming out on like the 24th or something like that, like real soon.
Within the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, within the next couple of weeks, and we've still heard nothing about, like, we were told, all the anime, you've got it, and you've got it for English distribution as well, and you said English theaters.
Well, when you say who are we referring to?
All the anime. I literally just said their name.
That's the name of them,
yes.
All the anime,
yes.
Okay.
All the anime is the company, and usually they publish stuff for Europe. However, in the last couple of years, they've started dipping their toes into North American markets. They had a panel at Otakon last year, and I don't know that they've ever had a North American panel before last year. And now suddenly this European company is coming in like, no, we're gonna start getting in on the American market, even though we know you guys already have anime companies out there, but guess what? We're coming in, knock knock. By the way, we've got Tonikawa. Like, Tonikawa's already streaming on Crunchyroll, right? But they have physical distribution rights in English for Tonikawa.
Right. But then I have to question, would they still have American distribution rights for physical media over here for that? Or
yes.
would it default back to... Because they didn't do Shinjuku Private Eyes.
No,
that was
they did
Discotheque.
not. Discotheque did the distribution, and that was...
Sound Cadence.
Sound
dub,
Cadence,
right?
Sound Cadence worked on the dub. All the anime is a distributor, so that does not mean that they are a dub house. Who knows who the dub house is? We've just got no idea. Where's it at? I don't know. France is going real fast. France picked it up real fast, and they're running with it, and I don't know what's going to happen to the English. We're just still waiting. By the way, I started an account with FrenchPod101.com.
Right, because now is not the time to be using Duolingo.
Yeah. Deciding to lay off human beings for the sake of AI. Man, we just saw what AI does with translations to that most recent Garo series, just the other day, and they went and tried to use AI in literally every single language for all of their subtitles. I'm not gonna learn French from AI, and here's what I've picked up in French so far. Qu'est-ce que c'est? What is that? That's it. That's all I know.
All you have learned is how to ask, what is that?
Yep.
Wow, that's really going to be helpful.
Yeah, and then they're going to tell me what it is, and then I'm not going to know. It does not help
so
me
you might want to learn for more than 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so just be working on that.
I'll be working on that.
Okay, so that having been said, let's go ahead and get into the second half of this two-parter. And as usual, we're starting with a recap. So we are dealing with this girl who's named Kimiko. Her grandfather is overly protective of her and kind of skeezy.
And kind of attracted to his own 17-year-old granddaughter. You know, it's pretty fucked up.
It really is. And they remind you of that in the recap. And it's like, y'all really did want to double down on this. Okay, screw y'all.
Well, thankfully, it doesn't come up again.
Thankfully. I wouldn't have even repeated it.
Yeah,
if it was
why
me.
did they even put it in the recap? I don't know. Let's just ignore that this ever happened.
No, I'm not going to try and, erase it. It happened.
All right,
and it's
happened.
messed up that it happened. And we are here to say that it's messed up that it happened. But thankfully, that's not the focal point of the episode.
No, the episode is much less bad this time than it was last time.
No, thankfully this episode, it's much more your standard City Hunter fare. So the bulk of this problem is that Kimiko unfortunately has had a rash of just random men aged 20 and up, trying to ask her for her hand in marriage, and she has no idea why. Also, connected to that, the grandfather does not want to tell her anything about her birth father because, shock and surprise, her birth father had a mother who was kind of shitty to him and her mom and kind of broke him up, and we're going to go over that here in this episode.
Yeah, that doesn't really come up in the previous episode. We're already skipping ahead.
Yeah, I know, but it's like, it's one of these kind of stories. I think we had one like it in season 1, if I'm not mistaken.
Something to this effect, yeah. So, Kimiko doesn't know anything about her family, but we did learn in the previous episode, there's a grandmother. She is a member of a Zaibatsu, which is just a family that's just super, uber, ultra rich and controls some kind of industry. We went over this a little bit in the last episode, where like Mitsubishi, at one point, if it isn't still, was like a Zaibatsu. Mitsubishi runs a whole industry.
Well, yeah. Well, several.
Yeah.
And so the grandma here, who I'll go ahead for the rest of the podcast and refer to as Grandma Uesugi, since that is her relation to Kimiko, she is over here under the impression that it's gonna take a lot, but she's willing to go the distance to try and get Kimiko involved back in her life. And there's a couple of pieces missing from everybody's board here.
But then all these dudes, it turns out, that have been chasing after Kimiko, trying to get her hand in marriage, they're involved in the family, in the Zaibatsu, and they're like, well, getting Kimiko to marry any of us has not been working, so we need to take more drastic measures. And these more drastic measures are going to come up here in this episode in part 2.
And we're going to get through that pretty quick, because like I said, when I say it's a standard City Hunter episode, it's very standard. Like, it's just plot point, plot point, plot point. Not a lot of character development. It's just kind of more action-oriented.
I did have a large chunk of this covered in a Japanese volume of the manga. Unfortunately, I don't have the entirety of like where this episode ends in manga format, but I've got over halfway, past the halfway point of the episode
and
manga format.
There's not too much different, thankfully.
There's really not. There's only a couple of things that I thought were worth noting, and I'll bring them up, and they're so minor that it doesn't affect the narrative in any way.
No, it doesn't. So as we actually start the episode proper, Ryo is interrogating the grandpa over here, who, again, reminder, he's been trying to keep Kimiko in the dark about anything having to do with her dad. And so based off what happened last episode, Ryo actually went and saw the Uesugi mansion and knows all of this stuff now. So he's reporting back to the grandpa like, hey, so I went to the Uesugi mansion. You want to talk about why you don't want to talk to them?
No!
I don't even know them.
He's lying.
He's lying very badly.
He's really bad at this. So Ryo and Grandpa are over here talking about just what his hang-ups are about this family, but Kimiko is walking around outside because she was prepared to just be nice and bring them tea, and so she's overhearing part of this conversation as it's going on.
And clearly they're talking about her dad, and that's a real sticking point for her because she knows nothing about him.
And so she stops outside the door before she goes in, and she just sits and listens, hoping she can hear something about her dad, but unfortunately, she just kind of got the jitters, and these two teacups just kind of clinked together, and so that now they know, oh, somebody's outside the door. Whoosh! They just throw the door open. What are you doing out here? I'm literally just here to deliver you tea.
I also live here. And it's like 7. Like, what do you want? Well, 7's too late. Go to bed.
Thanks, Grandpa. Tell this 17-year-old girl to go to bed.
You go to bed too, Ryo.
Ryo's like 30. I don't know.
Ryo's over here like, I don't even live here.
Between the ages of 28 and 30, and this grandpa's telling him to go to bed. But he does it. Like, he actually is trying to be... He sounds kind of sad, actually, in this moment. Okay, I guess I'll go. Bye, Grandpa.
Well, I took it as him being more condescending. Like, good night, Grandpa.
No, the first sentence definitely was condescending of, sure, all good kids go to bed. Good night, Grandpa. Like, the first sentence is condescending, and then the second one was, man, this man really disappointed me.
On multiple levels.
Yeah.
And so after they leave the kitchen where this argument was happening, Kimiko and Ryo stop in the hallway and they kind of go over this a little bit more, and Kimiko reveals to Ryo, look, I've actually looked up my family register before, and I see the spot where my dad's name is supposed to be and all his information, that's all blank.
Which is really weird because you literally, in Japan, legally have to have a family register. It's so
it's got to be filled out.
It has to be. Yeah, that's a thing we don't have to do in America. Like, you have to have a birth certificate, sure, but a family registry is different. It's like legally having your family lineage on paper.
Right.
And if you don't have that, that's a bad thing. I don't know. You need that for certain documentation or whatever. I don't know every single thing you ever need that for, but it's a thing you have to have. So that's kind of weird that his name is not on the family registry.
And she's pressing Rio like, come on, I'm aware of what I'm not aware of. It's this. It's specifically any information relating to my dad. You know something. You've got to tell me. What do you know about my father? And he's like, all right, you want the truth? I'm going to tell you the truth. I am your father.
Like, clearly he's joking with her. It's a big old joke. And she's just really upset about it, and maybe she even took it to be, like, offensive or skeezy.
No, see, I can get why she would be offended, because this is her wanting to know something about herself.
Sure.
You know, connecting to that part of her that she has no idea about regarding her dad. So if she's being serious and he's being jokey, he picked the wrong time to be jokey.
So here in the anime, she has slammed the door in his face. In the manga, like, this is one of the few things that are in any way different, but the difference isn't even big enough to, like, I'm gonna mention it and we're gonna move on. Rather than hitting him in the face with the door, with her bedroom door, she hits him over the head with a whole ass TV. And you know how big TVs in the 80s were. It's a big TV. That aside, when he has had the door slammed in his face here in the anime, one, like, you peel the door off of his face and, like, you can barely see it, but there's, like, an imprint of his face
in the door. Also, it's like cut out in his shape.
In the shape of his body. Yeah. But when the door got slammed in his face, like, you're just supposed to see a bunch of, like, flashing lights, because it's like, you know, if you got hit in the face, you'd be seeing stars or whatever, right?
Like a cartoon hit.
Yeah. And somewhere in the middle of it, there's two frames.
Only two.
Two whole frames of just some random shit, and it's a picture of just this adorable cartoon orange cat, and he's holding the Japanese flag, and it says Hinomaru in Romaji, in Roman characters, right? Which very literally is the name of the Japanese flag, because he in Hinomaru is like fire,
right,
which is like the sun. The sun is fire, right? No Maru, no is possessive.
A particle
of, like, the fire is possessing the Maru, and Maru is just like a round thing.
Right.
And guess what? The Japanese flag is a big old red ball. Hinomaru. That is the Japanese flag. And, like, that's it. It's just such a weird, like, it's just a random thing.
It wasn't connected to anything. There wasn't anything being said about the Japanese flag. They just decided, hey, we're just gonna sneak some shit in there and see who catches it.
Like, I went to look up, like, is there a cat that is well known for holding the Japanese flag or something? No, they just threw in a cute Japanese cat. Like, he got hit in the face so hard, he was just seeing shit.
Hey, you ever get hit so hard you got patriotic?
It's a cute cat, though.
And see, the funny part about that is not only does he get hit by the door by Kimiko, then he gets hit by the Tonkachi of Gold. Again, it's in Roman characters. It's in English. This Tonkachi of Gold, which, if you don't know Japanese, Tonkachi is just literally hammer.
There is no other word it could possibly be. There isn't another Tonkachi in Japanese, and there's only one definition of the word, and that definition is hammer.
Ryo has been hit with a hammer of gold, and there's only one person who wields hammers in this show.
And her sister, that we only see
one time. Yeah, but we know who it is.
Anyway, that sister's not coming back. It's Kaori! She's got a hammer, and it's all gold. I guess that would be pretty heavy.
I guess because we're talking about, to a certain extent, that there's an inheritance being floated about here, that Kimiko is technically in line to inherit a lot of money.
Is that why a gold hammer showed up?
That's how I took it.
I mean, I don't think it has any meaning. I just think it was funny. There was just this rapid fire set of things that were mildly amusing, one right after another.
And so Kimiko's walking away from Ryo, clearly pissed off that he's being all jokey. And then as she's, walking back to her room, I guess, the phone starts ringing.
Hello, rotary phone.
And over on the other end, it's the rich asshole who was trying to ask her to marry her last episode.
On the other end of the line, yeah.
And he's like, hey, don't hang up on me just yet. I just wanted you to know I've got information about your dad. You want to know about your dad, right?
I mean, he's not lying. He's just being shady. And she's not thrilled to talk to him, but she does really want to know more about her dad.
So then the next day rolls around, and then she just straight up didn't go to school.
Well, that's not good. So nobody knows where she is right now, although Rio has a pretty good idea, I think. He's at least aware that she's like really mad. She knows something about her dad. What reason would she have to want to stick around with her grandpa, who's just gonna be a dick to her and not tell her things about her past?
And so the grandpa's over here getting mad at Rio, like, you ain't doing your job. Where's my granddaughter? Where's she at? And he's like, all right, calm down. I think I got a good idea. Consider this. Why don't we head over to the Uesugi mansion, and why don't we go talk to them?
And
I want to talk to them.
Well, he's also like, what, are you saying that she kidnapped my granddaughter? No. I've got a pretty good idea of what might have happened, and we might actually learn something if we go there.
Yeah, so maybe we should, I don't know, before we make wild accusations, talk first. Get in the damn mini. So they head over there, and the grandmother is like, oh, the grandfather actually wants to, like, talk to my ass? He hates my ass. Oh, okay, let's go down there and talk to him. And so as they're sitting there in, like, the living room, drawing room, whatever, the reception room there at the mansion, it's revealed what exactly is the source of all this beef between the two families. And so it turns out that this is a very kind of star-crossed lovers sort of thing. Kimiko's parents were in love, but kind of like a reverse case of what's happening right now. At the time they were getting together, the dad, who again is part of this Zaibatsu, was being inundated with a ton of female suitors. And so the grandma just assumed every female suitor who wanted to, get married into the family was just a gold digger.
And so she kept trying to break the two of them up. She did everything in her power to make them not be together. And as far as the grandpa knew, the dad eventually just took off, futzed off overseas, and then just died overseas. And he was like, well, fine, if he was just gonna leave my daughter, he can just die overseas. I don't care.
Well, yeah, because it's this whole thing of like, oh, he knocked off my daughter, and then he just left her.
Yeah, by the way, she was pregnant when he left.
Yeah.
Right. And then when he left, the daughter was just so beside herself. You were telling me you were interpreting this as they pulled a Padme here. Mind you, this happened first, as far as things that have been released in media.
Yeah.
She was just so heartbroken and weak and frail already. And then now on top of that, she's just really, really sad. She thankfully gave birth to Kimiko, seemingly okay, but like she died. She died in childbirth.
She died in childbirth from sadness, just like Padme. And so the thing that nobody knows yet is that the grandma has her own half of the story, and she's going to be real broken up about it, but first she's got to get in the room here. And the first thing that happens as soon as she walks into the room is the grandpa's still real angry, real accusatory. Where's my granddaughter? Why have you sent all these suitors after her?
And she's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And Rio has to clarify, yeah, there's all these dudes that have been trying to come after your granddaughter real hard and like ask her to marry them. And as far as we can tell, they're all related to you. And I'm realizing at this moment, oh yeah, if they're all part of this same family, this Zaibatsu, then they are all related. Meaning they're all like maybe cousins or something. And I hate that. I just really hate that.
I'm not down with that.
I understand that's legal in Japan, but, come on now. Please, can we not? Anyway, so the grandma's just like, I did not tell them to do that. What the fuck? She's actually like really upset that everybody has been doing this because everybody has this plan to get in on this Zaibatsu money when the grandma dies.
Speaking of which, they're calling right now on another phone there in the living room.
Hello, rotary phone.
Hey, we're the ransom guys. We're part of your family. You probably know who we are by name and have us on your Christmas card list. We would like you to come and get your granddaughter, but we want money, and you have to come alone.
And don't tell the police. And she's like, okay, I guess I'm gonna go do that. And Rio is like, oh no, you're not. That's a stupid thing to do. And everybody's just like, get in the mini. Let's go. We're going down to the warehouses where everyone takes anyone who's ever kidnapped.
If it's not the warehouses, it's the docks. This week it's the warehouses.
There's warehouses at the docks.
That is true. And the whole time, Grandpa over here is just still going off on all of them, like, nobody's gonna tell Kimiko shit. She's not gonna find out anything. I'm gonna make sure she doesn't know anything about any of this.
Rio's just like, bro, come on now. Like, they've already kidnapped her? What, you think they didn't tell her why this is happening?
Like, think about it, dude. She went of her own volition down there. There's no sign of a struggle. Chances are they told her, hey, we know information about your dad, which means she already knows something or wants to know something. Come on, man.
And as if on cue, we cut over to Kimiko tied up to oil barrels. Like, wait, you knew my dad?
Do you know my dad? Oh.
And they're like, yeah, baby, you're the daughter of your dad, obviously. No, you're the granddaughter of this old lady who is the owner of this Zaibatsu, this big conglomerate family, and she wants to make you the heir to all of this wealth. But we're not gonna let that happen. Don't worry, your grandma's coming right now, and we're gonna give you exactly what we promised, just under really weird conditions involving an oil barrel and someone probably dying.
Yeah, that's the whole reason this is going on. It's all about money. Why else did you think a bunch of men were acting like they were interested in you, you 17-year-old girl? And so she's like, oh my god, he died. That's so cruel. But then she immediately defaults to, well, no, I've got a bodyguard. Rio's gonna come save me. And then immediately her memory kicks in to all the skeezy shit he's been doing for the last episode.
And then she kind of figures, there's a possibility he might not come. But that just means she doesn't know him very well. Like, I understand under normal circumstances, if it was anybody else, I could understand why you would think, you can't trust this guy to do anything.
Well, no, because at best this case has been going on for what, like 2-3 days?
Something like that.
It's a real short case.
Yeah.
And so yeah, everybody's piled in the Mini and they're heading towards the docks. And so now it's time for the grandma to come clean about everything that happened with the grandson. And it turns out she regretted her decision after the fact. So what she did was she shipped his ass off to some other country, somewhere it looked like a desert or something.
Yeah.
That could be anywhere.
And so it's not that the dad, like, left of his own volition. It's that the mom, like, forced him. Yeah, the grandma forced him, her son, into work with some other member of the family overseas. And, like, didn't give him a choice. And he was just so depressed about it. And he so desperately wanted to get back there and couldn't, that he just also died of sadness. He wasn't eating, he wasn't drinking, and he just loved this woman he couldn't be with so much that he just died.
And it's real sad when you think about it, because he's there, like, on his deathbed saying, don't be mad at her, she wasn't a gold digger, I was trying to tell you that the whole time, it was all love. And, like, the grandma's explicit intent was, like, I just want him to go cold turkey, no contact, 10 years ought to do it. That means he kept the flame going for 10 whole years.
Well, I don't know that he made it 10 years. She just thought, oh, if I make him be separated for 10 years, that'll do it. For all we know, he didn't even make it a year. Like, he was so heartbroken, he just...
I mean, I guess they don't necessarily define, but
no.
She said the stint was supposed to be 10 years.
Yeah, she intended to just leave her son overseas for 10 years.
And see, like, this isn't like some other episodes where it's like, no, we're gonna get you an arranged marriage, or we're gonna find somebody else to replace it. No, just no love. Just all work, no love. And then you basically killed your own son.
And I'm gonna say it's funny, but it's, like, not funny. Just kind of funny that the second he dies, she goes, that's when I realized she loved him. And that's when I realized he loved her. Yeah,
a little late.
Really bad timing. And then after that, she tried to figure out where that woman was that her son was in love with, and she couldn't figure it out probably because she was already dead. But I don't think she even knew that there was a granddaughter yet.
No, it seems like she found out after the fact, here in the story, fairly recently. So now at the cost of having lost her only son, now she's realizing, okay, well, I want to make amends. I actually want Kimiko, now that I realize she's family, I want her in this family. I want her to have the inheritance. I want us all to get to know each other. I want to make up for the 18 years that I've been just spending dealing with the consequences of my actions.
And I want to say I'm sorry.
See, that's the important thing, is like, she didn't necessarily try to make it about herself, and she did say, hey, first things first, my bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the greatest apology, but at least she is saying, I want to apologize. apologize.
It is different from the other one that was similar to that for that reason, with the other grandma that was kind of a dick to her family, because this grandma knew she fucked up and wanted to apologize for it, and the other grandma did not do that.
No. So at this point, the grandma's looking better than the grandpa right now. Like, I would rather just cut the grandpa out of the picture.
Kinda, yeah.
So now at this point, we've gotten down to the warehouse, everybody's getting out of the Mini, and the grandma says, all right, they asked for just me, then I'm gonna give them that. I'm gonna be the only one going down there. And Rio's like, no, you're not.
The grandpa at this point has finally kind of accepted that the situation is different from what he's thought it's been the whole time. And he's kind of accepting that the grandma wants to do everything she can to save her granddaughter, but also says, all right, Rio, you do have to go with her because you're the only one who can safely get my granddaughter back.
And make sure that she meets her grandmother. So, like, he's starting to kind of accept, well, okay, she caused this, and I had the wrong idea on my end, but just looking at her, and he says this straight to her face, looking at your face, you're supposed to be younger than me. He doesn't say by how much, but he can see that clearly grief has aged her.
Yeah.
Like, he's saying they both look about the same age as far as how old they look,
yeah,
but she's considerably younger, but looks worse off.
Yeah, which is a harsh thing to say, but, you know, true.
I mean, that does happen. Like, if you get hit with grief hard enough, yeah, that'll mess with you.
Yeah.
Really, any stress will age you like that. And it's weird, like, compared to other City Hunter BGM, here we're getting some, like, smooth jazz going in the background. I really liked
this jazz. Yeah, kind of want to pull that jazz up, honestly.
And so the three guys, the rich guy, some other guy, and the punk rock guy, all meet the grandma outside of the warehouse where they're holding her. Rio just kind of busts out from behind some barrels and is like, aha, I'm here too, and I'm here to save Kimiko.
Well, we told you not to do that. And just to be sure that we were going to get what we want, not only do we have Kimiko strapped to an oil barrel, we have the oil barrel tied up with an extra string that is tied to this grenade. Also, I kind of want to mention here, I didn't mention a second ago, this is kind of where, just before this is where my copy of the manga cuts off, so I don't have reference for what happens here at the end. But rather than a barrel of oil, in the manga they have her tied up and placed in a coffin on a bed of roses.
So it's way more theatrical looking.
It is very theatrical. Super weird. I don't know what happens past that, but otherwise it is basically the same.
We can assume. And on top of expressing that this is the precarious situation we've placed her in, also they're trying to be dicks to Kimiko right now. Like, hey, look, we told you you'd meet your grandma. There she is. It's her fault. And I don't get how exactly that works. Like, saying like it's her fault. No, you guys are the ones being assholes right now. You're the one.
Well, a lot of things are the grandma's fault, but
specifically what's happening right now, that's on them for kidnapping a child.
That is very true.
And then tying them up and then putting them next to a grenade.
That is true.
You can't put any of that on the grandma.
Yeah.
Hell, she didn't even know these guys were doing this.
And so they're like, yeah, so you better not come this way, and Rio, we see you've got a gun, you better put that gun down on the ground, and Rio's just kind of like, no.
Well, because, like, for a second there, Rio tries to, like, level with these guys, and he's like, hey, look, I understand everything you guys did up until a point. You guys are trying to hit on a beautiful girl that you assumed was beautiful, and, you know, you're trying to sneak into bedrooms, and you know what? I do that shit too. Let's talk about how we're alike. And then, like, from off-screen, Cowdy, like, chucks, like, a screw or a bolt at his head, and then he straightens up, but not today.
This is too far.
This is too much. So, I've got this gun here, and I'm pretty sure if I keep walking, y'all ain't gonna do shit.
And they're like, we're gonna do it. No, you're not. We're gonna do it. Do it then. You're not gonna do it. You won't.
You won't. And so while Ryo's like trying to test whether or not these guys are gonna flinch, the grandma goes running up to Kimiko and tries like untying her from the barrel.
But the grandma has really weak baby grandma hands, and she's not very good at untying rope, and she's kind of just hurting herself.
Like she's drawing blood, trying to untie these ropes, and I don't know whether or not I feel bad for the grandma in terms of like, oh my god, she's like so trying to do her best to save her grandbaby, or like, man, did none of y'all think to bring a knife?
Yeah, I know.
Surely one of you brought a knife.
Rio, do you not just carry a knife on you? I guess not.
Not usually, just the gun, which he uses right here.
Kaori should carry a knife. Why doesn't Kaori carry a knife? I feel like she could carry a knife.
I feel like...
Mind you, technically, against the law in Japan to carry a blade, right?
It is, yeah.
Even more so than it is here, because in America, it's illegal to have a blade past how many inches?
I want to say it's
some certain number of
an
inches.
inch or two, not more than that.
Yeah, you can have tiny little knives. But
like for work and stuff like that.
But in Japan, they don't fuck with that shit at all because it's so tied back to trying to get rid of swords.
Well, it's not just that. I think, if I'm not mistaken, comparatively speaking, on average, they have more knife crime. Like people being
that too.
Accosted at knife point and stabbings, things like that.
But also, they used to have swords a lot, and everybody had swords, and people were killed with swords. And so,
but that was a very long time ago.
Do you know how many things just hold over for a really long time, way past their societal expiration date? That happens in America too. Do you know how many laws have not caught up with modern times? This happens, Josh. Anyway, what I'm saying is that knife laws are stupid because these people are carrying guns. And then the other people they're facing off against have grenades. Like, the whole thing doesn't make sense. Somebody should have a knife.
Well, you don't bring a knife to a grenade fight.
You do if somebody is tied up with rope.
Well, look, Ryo's gonna prove us both wrong right now. He's just gonna take care of this with 2 shots, alright? First, he's gonna shoot, and he's just going to do the simple thing, and he's gonna cut the wire. The string that's holding the pin.
To the grenade.
So, that was the easiest thing to do right there, to stop that. And then, I'll give the rich guy that much. He decided, well, 1 grenade wasn't enough. I brought an insurance grenade.
It's like you thought it was just the 1 grenade. Joke's on you, I got 2 of them.
It was a 2-pack. And he pulls the pin and chucks it at Grandma and Kimiko. But remember, Ryo's quick with it, and he's really, really a good shot. And so he triple bounces this grenade in midair, just deflecting the grenade back towards the 3 assholes. And they're running back towards the sewer like cowardly ninja turtles.
A sewer. There's a manhole cover in the ground nearby. We didn't mention that before because we're only just finding out about it right now.
And somehow Ryo managed to get the grenade in the manhole cover just as they were closing it up.
And then...
And somehow, there are not 3 fatalities. They lived.
It's a cartoon. They needed to make sure these people didn't die. But it's not like City Hunter hasn't shown people get shot and killed before. I was just rewatching an episode of City Hunter in French, actually. A Nicky Larson episode. And Umibozu, like this is an episode we went over from earlier in this season. Umibozu had to shoot a guy in the head, and he gets knocked back into a helicopter, and the helicopter explodes, and that man is very definitely dead because he got headshot and then his helicopter exploded. So it's not like City Hunter doesn't show people dying, but sometimes they really don't want to show people dying.
Yeah, but you gotta think about that in context. This is only episode 55. Only 5 episodes ago, Ryo was headshotting fools.
Yeah.
Like, I think they try to, like, clean it up a little bit, but remember, Ryo's a killer.
He could have killed those people.
He very well could have, and it's luck that they weren't dead. So now that that's all been settled, now it's the next day. We're back over at the Uesugi mansion, and Grandma, Grandpa, and Kimiko are all trying to hash this out and see what they can come to as far as an agreement goes.
But Kimiko's like, I don't want this lady's money. Why are you talking to me about all these cruel things she did, and then all this money that I'm supposed to get? That's not what I want to talk about. But really, the point she's trying to make is, now I know I've got a grandma. Why don't you just try to be my grandma for a while? Like, let's make up for that lost time for a second before we start talking about me being an heir and getting money and stuff.
Like, why don't you try being my family? Like, the thing you didn't do to my mom.
Mind you, she says it much less mean. She starts kind of mean, but then she's like, no, I would like a grandma, though. Like, let's actually do this.
I mean, real talk, Grandpa's kind of creepy over here, so can I stay over here tonight? She doesn't actually say that, but in my head, I would feel better if she had.
I would too.
And so I guess as like a prize for not dying from yesterday, the grandma gives her a picture of her dad that's all wrapped up. And Ryo's like, oh, well, I guess that's all taken care of, right? Now I don't have to be here anymore. Maybe we can go now. And then Kaori's like telling Kimiko, well, it's good that you have a family now, and maybe one day you'll find somebody who loves you as much as your dad loved your mom.
And Kimiko's like, I might have found somebody like that already. And I'm just going, oh, why do we have to do this? Thankfully, Ryo hasn't taken the bait or anything. But then Grandma from this side of the family and Grandpa from this side of the family are like, you know what would be a really good idea? Yeah, I know what would be a really good idea. Why don't we have Ryo actually marry her? And now everybody thinks this is a good idea, and it's not, and Ryo agrees that it's not, and he's like, nope, I'm out of here. I don't know why he didn't just get in the car and drive away. Instead, he runs. Dude, you have a car. You should just get in the car and leave.
I mean, I guess it's just a knee-jerk reaction of just start running.
Yeah.
And so we're left off on this still frame of Ryo trying to get the hell away from this family. Kaori's just there, leaned up against the Mini like, oh my god.
Why does this keep happening?
Still love her as playing, and that's the end of the episode.
I mean, there were a couple of good moments. It was okay.
There were some good moments for comedy.
The Hinomaru flag, that was really weird. Very brief appearance of only 2 frames, and I'm probably going to use that as the screenshot, like, hey, you would have never seen this. Here it is. What even is this? I don't know. But look at this cute cat.
You thought you could pull one over on a sunrise, but nope, we caught it.
We found your cat.
Thanks to the miracle of Blu-ray.
Thanks, Discotech.
No, really, thank you, Discotech.
Yeah.
You're feeding our lives with City Hunter goodness. And so next episode, we're moving on to, I think this is one of the better episodes as far as comedy goes.
I think. I don't know. Ryo's kind of a creep in this next one, I recall.
He is, but I'm not trying to qualify it like that. I never actually condone that kind of behavior in real life.
Right.
It's just in context for the time, it is comical.
Sure, knowing that it is fiction and not real, it's comical.
Yes, but we're dealing with someone who has moved into the building.
In the building next door.
In the building next door, yeah. We have to be very careful about that, because if you're reading it wrong, you'll think from the preview that this woman has moved into Ryo's building, and to reiterate, only Kaori and Ryo actually live at Ryo's building. No,
you'll see from the episode, it's very clearly, like, Ryo sees her from out the window. Like, they're not in the same building.
But I think it's kind of funny because, like, as many times as we've seen the exterior of their apartment building, there are no other buildings around it. Like, it's on its own block island unto itself.
Yeah, the stuff that happens in the next episode makes it appear as though another building just manifested itself right there. And like, this is in the manga too. It's interesting, these episodes are produced out of order. They're produced out of order from the publication of the manga. So I actually also have these manga chapters, but they're sooner in the release of the manga. So I'll have another set of manga to kind of pair it with for the next episode.
Yeah, so we'll be able to refer back to that next time.
So come back next time when we cover the 56th episode of City Hunter 2, Success Story in Shinjuku. The Neighbor is a Beautiful Dancer, Part 1.
And if you want to catch us outside this podcast, you can always find us both over on most social media. I'm at JoshKnightFirst.
And I'm at MarzGurl. Thank you all so much for listening to our 106th episode of MokkoriPlay. And if you don't come back next episode, I'm gonna send a zombie after Josh.
What do zombies have to do with dancing?
I genuinely don't know.
Is this a thriller thing?
No?
Are you sure?
I'm not actually.
Well, I'm not either.